This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. So let's talk about your next match with him, because it is a tag match and that's what fans have been wanting to see. It's a matinee show in Asheville, North Carolina on the 28th. It's Arn and Ole against Manny and Thunderbolt, but the real magic happens that night. Charlotte, North Carolina at the Coliseum, April 28th, 1985. Ole and Arn are going to team up to take on Thunderbolt Patterson and Manny Fernandez. And the stipulations were, if Ole's team wins, then Arn is going to win Thunderbolt's half of the national tag straps. And of course, if Thunderbolt's team wins, then Manny Fernandez is going to win the belt. And when it's all said and done, man, you hadn't been here very long. And now you are a Mid-Atlantic NWA national tag team champion with your brother, cousin, whatever, Ole Anderson. It's a big night, man. Charlotte, North Carolina, and you're the tag champ.
Or was it ever? Huge. It was huge. The story played out. Just being partners with Ole was one thing. Now becoming champions, tag champions with Ole was even bigger. Having it happen in Charlotte just threw fuel on the fire. It was one of those things that you knew once it came together and it went down, and, you know, the fans were not happy about it. That's for sure. We were not baby faces. We were respected, not liked. Very few people liked us. You know, there was a few hard asses in the crowd that knew what it meant for the Andersons to be champions again and how hard it was going to be to change the complexion of that by any team out there. I think they just felt it. They knew it was something they could, you know, sink their teeth into. So it wasn't the ending of the angle. It was actually the beginning.
It's pretty important moment. You know, you've talked about the first time that you won a tag strap, and it was an old territory belt back in the day, but this is another thing. I mean, this is the NWA national tag belt, and your partner is wrestling royalty, Ole Anderson. Is this something that as a fan, you're sort of like, wow, I can't believe this is real? I mean, tell me about your celebration, or just how you internalize such a big moment.
If it doesn't feel real to you and you don't conduct yourself bell to bell and coming through the curtain from the time you go back through the curtain, if you don't feel it like a real thing, because it is a real thing, you know, yeah, could I slam a guy harder if I wanted to? Sure. Could I punch a guy in the chin harder? Absolutely. You know, the part of our business is, you know, you're not trying to cripple a guy every time you go to the ring. You're just not. But, you know, it's a very physical business. You know, guys get hurt all the time. You don't hear about it. You know, it's not announced. Most times they just disappear for a while, and, you know, you'd start to wonder, okay, well, shit, I haven't seen that guy in 3 or 4 weeks. Wonder what happened. And you would get back to work as quickly as you can because you didn't want to lose your spot. But when something like becoming one half of the national tag champions with Ole Anderson occurs in your life, it's something special. And you know that if you handle that position right, and you hope that you do all the right things and it gets over properly, then, you know, people will be talking about you years down the road. I didn't know it was possible to be 30 plus years down the road, they would still be talking about you, but I knew it was a big deal. So it was like the beginning of, you know, even though I'd held the tag titles, you know, like you were talking about in Pensacola with Jerry Stubbs, this was kind of the beginning of becoming a national and a worldwide commodity star, if you want to call it that. But you went to a different level because we had a television show that went, you know, national as a platform. The name Anderson was its own platform. And the fact that I was the new kid on the block to freshen it all up, man, it just made for incredible times.
The very next day, you're in Greenville, South Carolina. And again, it's a rematch. This time, Manny and Thunderbolt are challenging the tag champs, Ole and Arn, but it's a DQ win. So the belts do not change hands. It's second from the top with Dusty and Tully on top for the television championship. The next day, you're way up the road to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Again, second from the top with Tully and Dusty working on top for the TV title in a cage match. Manny and Thunderbolt are going to get the win, but once again, it's a DQ, so the titles don't change hands. And that rounds up your May of 1985. You know, you haven't been here in Mid-Atlantic a ton of time. You've been here for March and April. And in those 2 months, I feel strongly that saving money is important. You know, if it's not something we worry about now, boy, we are really going to worry about it later. And I want to help you get out of debt faster and do it with cheaper monthly payments. I'm talking to you if you're in a 30-year loan. Now is the time to take years off of your loan. We're routinely helping our listeners cut 5, 10, even 15 years off their loan. And you can do this without perfect credit with no money out of pocket. You've just got to start at savewithconrad.com. You're going to help kick off the show for the first time we have a national program. And then what? 3 weeks later, you're winning tag belts with Ole Anderson. Man, this is working out to be one of the best decisions you've made in your career just yet, is it not?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about the fact that I didn't go back to Pensacola when I first wanted to. A couple of weeks in, we discussed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, things were happening for me, and in that position, in those days, if you were part of the tag champions and you were a heel, you were a workhorse, and you were put in the position of now, as long as you did not drop a fall, as long as you weren't submitted or pinned 1, 2, 3, as long as you weren't beat in the middle of the ring, you remain champion. You could get DQ'd, you could get counted out. And if you rolled out of that ring when it was all said and done, still the champions, there was a lot of heat on those days, because everybody knew all you were trying to do. Now, you never had to win. You just had to survive a match. And in those days, that translated to heat. And they were bouncing us around. As you could look at the travel schedule, we were going to all the major cities. We had been put in a different position as far as where we were on the card. We were next to last. And that was a fantastic position. It was a prominent position. And, we were on the way. And it was not lost on me that I had been put in a position of trust. And every night I went to the ring, I wanted to make the company glad that they had trusted me with that position.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.